Sports Magazine Mogul Time. We are counting down the 10 highest sales from November 2024. Here we go. Let's start off with some honorable mentions that just missed the cut, and we're going to begin with this 1980 Goal magazine featuring Wayne Gretzky. This is a CGC 9.6 copy, sold on eBay for $1,059. From 1993, we got Michael Jordan on the cover of Sports Illustrated. It's a CGC 9.8. Always going to love those MJ 9.8s. This one sold on Golden Auctions for $1,098. It's the Y cover. Of course, why was he walking away from basketball and going into baseball? We know what happened after that. From 1973, how about the trifecta? You've got Secretariat. Secretariat was on the cover of Sports Illustrated, Time Magazine, and Newsweek Magazine all on the same day in 1973. How about that? Very impressive. The only other occasion I know of that happening with anybody was Joe Montana, I believe in 1981, 81 or 82, somewhere around there. But this is pretty cool. And let's see, you got a 5.5, a 7.0, a 6.0, and the trifecta sold on eBay for $1,200. From 1987, going back to Michael Jordan, this is the Pictures 87 cover, one of the most beautiful MJ SI covers. It's a high grade CGC 9.4. This is a thick issue and a lot of color ink, so difficult to get this one in a high grade. This one sold on eBay for $1,250. Another 80s Michael Jordan cover with Sports Illustrated. It's the How High Can He Fly? This one is not graded, but it has been autographed by Michael Jordan, authenticated by PSA. You can see that it was a subscription copy with the label removed. A little bit of paper tear there on the bottom, but nonetheless sold on eBay for $1,275. Coming up next from 1989, it's Mario Lemieux on the cover of Sports Illustrated. We already saw Wayne Gretzky earlier. Here they asked if Lemieux was as great as Gretzky. It's his first cover. It's a CGC 9.4 newsstand, sold on eBay for just south of $1,300. Here it is from 1984, the classic Star is Born cover. It's Michael Jordan's first professional Sports Illustrated cover. This is a CGC 8.0 subscription copy with the label pretty cleanly removed, and it sold on eBay for $1,476. From 1988, we're hitting almost all of the 80s Michael Jordan Sports Illustrated covers here. It's the Sky High issue. This is actually the very first time that Scottie Pippen appeared on the cover. I don't really consider it to be a Scottie Pippen cover, but I would call it a Scottie Pippen cover appearance. It's a CGC 9.0 copy, and this one sold on Golden Auctions for $1,525. Next up, we're moving into the non-sports category of the honorable mentions, and here you've got Donald Trump, and excuse that year. This is actually 2024. This is the recent Trump time cover from the assassination attempt in Pennsylvania. It's a CGC 9.8. This one sold on Golden Auctions for $1,700. Now, here is the Trump magazine cover from 1989. This is also Time magazine, and that's what, 35 years before the one that we just saw. And this was actually his first cover appearance on Time magazine. It's a CGC 9.6. Actually, a pretty cool cover there, holding up the Trump card. And this one sold on Golden Auctions for $1,708. From 1963, how about Look magazine? And that is John F. Kennedy. And it's been autographed by John F. Kennedy, authenticated by JSA. Of course, JFK was assassinated in 1963, this very same year. So, can't imagine there's all that many autographs floating out there from JFK, which would be the reason this one sold so well. Now, I will say, if you look closely, this magazine came out on December 3rd, 1963, and I looked it up beforehand. This was obviously way before my time, so I didn't know the exact date. I knew that JFK was shot in 63, and it was actually in November. So this magazine cover with the autograph actually came out, I believe, a couple weeks after he was assassinated, which I thought was very curious. I don't know if, it does look like this was a monthly magazine, so maybe this was just an early printed copy that somehow someone was able to get him signed. before the shooting. I'm not really sure how that worked, but regardless, this one sold on eBay for $1,945. How about Seaman Confidential from 1969? I thought this one was pretty unique. Never seen this before. So that's Neil Armstrong on the cover. This is a cover only, so the cover has been ripped off. The rest of the magazine is not included. And the giveaway with that is that it is slabbed by PSA because, as of now, PSA does not yet grade magazines, although hopefully that's coming very soon within the next month or two. They have announced it's supposed to be Q1 of 2025. But as of now, the most you can get PSA to do with a magazine is just to slab and authenticate a single page, such as this one. He wrote Neil Armstrong, Apollo 11, and once again, slabbed and authenticated by PSA. Now, the title of the magazine is Seaman Confidential, and it's a South America version. You can see at the top it says Caracas, which is the capital of Venezuela, and it says 1969. But what I thought was really unique is this whole layout and format looks identical to Time magazine. So I don't know if this was like a subsidiary of Time magazine that was sold in South America. Not really sure how that worked, but very interesting nonetheless. And it sold on eBay for $1,999. From 1935, Mickey Mouse Magazine. This is issue number 2. And let's see here. It says in this issue, a $5,000 contest. That would have been pretty big money for 1935. And it's a CGC 5.0 copy sold on eBay for $2,360. From 2012, this is Bitcoin Magazine. Of course, I've seen Bitcoin Magazine issue number 1 sell quite a bit. That's got the classic cover, but this is issue number 2, which I really had not seen before. It's a CGC 9.8 copy, and it sold on eBay for $2,400. From 1990, here is Playboy magazine. You've got Donald Trump on the cover, and it has been autographed by Donald Trump, and this one sold on eBay for $3,200. Here's that Bitcoin issue number 1 I was talking about from 2012, and this CGC 9.8 copy sold on eBay for $3,950. And let's jump right into the top 10 highest selling sports magazines from November 2024. Coming in at number 10, we've got Michael Jordan. This is his very first Sports Illustrated cover from 1983. Man, I think we really have hit almost every one of his 1980 covers, maybe other than the One Man Gang. And this is a CGC 7.5 newsstand copy sold on Golden Auctions for $1,781. There have been 165 newsstand copies of this issue graded. It's a Pop 14 at the 7.5 level, and there are 33 newsstand copies graded higher. Coming in at number 9, it is Ken Griffey Jr., here labeled as The Natural. This is from 1990. It's his first cover appearance with Sports Illustrated, Seattle's 20-year-old wonder. And this is a CGC 9.6 newsstand copy, really beautiful, and sold on Golden Auctions for $2,440. Very popular cover, graded 174 times as newsstand. And this is one of 8 9.6s. There's only one 9.8 out there. I would love to see that one hit a public auction. I bet that one would go for some really big money. But this is a nice sale here coming in at number 9. At number 8, back to the first MJ cover from 1983. And how about this? Very curious. It's a CGC 5.5 copy. It's selling for higher than that 7.5 copy, but thus is the world of collectibles. You never know what's going to happen. That previous one, the 7.5, went in auction on Golden Auctions for 1781, whereas this 5.5 sold as a buy it now on eBay for 2,500. So you never know what kind of result you're going to get. There's different platforms, different ways to sell, and strong sale here for the 5.5. Once again, 165 newsstand copies. This one graded. It's a Pop 14 at the 5.5 level, and there are 111 copies graded higher. Here's a Michael Jordan cover. Now, this is not from the 80s, but the picture was taken in the 80s. This is from that classic Walter Use photo shoot. Actually, the same photo shoot as that 1987, Pictures 87 cover. But this was a Sports Illustrated Presents commemorative issue that got put out in 2009 to celebrate his induction into the Hall of Fame. It's a nice CGC 9.8, and this one sold on Golden Auctions for $2,727. There have been 19 copies of this one graded, and it is one of only three 9.8s. At number six, it is the Great Gretzky. It's his first Sports Illustrated cover from 1981. You've got a nice CGC 8.5 newsstand copy here. This one sold on Golden Auctions. I'm telling you, Golden Auctions has really taken the forefront when it comes to a lot of the big auctions and big sales for sports magazines. It seems used to be Heritage, but Golden Auctions seems to have seized that category. We'll see if that continues. This one sold for $2,806. There have been 111 newsstand copies of this one graded, and it's a Pop 7 with only 11 copies graded higher. Coming in at number five, here's another favorite cover from the 80s, and it is Mike Tyson's first Sports Illustrated cover from 1986. This is CGC 9.6 newsstand, and it sold on Golden Auctions for $3,050. There have been 47 newsstand copies of this Kid Dynamite cover graded. This is one of only two 9.6s, and there are currently two 9.8s. Coming in at number four, I don't think I've ever had this particular cover show up on one of my videos, so this is really cool to see. It's Pete Rose, of course, rest in peace, recently passed away, never got to see himself get inducted into the Hall of Fame, which I think is an absolute shame. This is from 1985, and it's a great cover because it's whenever Pete Rose was closing in to become the all-time hit king. Ty Cobb, Here I Come, Pete Rose closes in on a hallowed record, which of course we know he went on to eclipse. And this is a CGC 9.8 newsstand. Really, really cool cover here, really cool copy. Sold on Golden Auctions for $3,068. There have been 17 newsstand copies of this one graded, and this is a Pop 1 with none graded higher. All right, issue number one has been making a pretty strong comeback lately, and this is the 9.8 issue number one. Eddie Matthews, Hall of Famer for the Braves from 1954. There for a while, these were selling. I think at one time they were selling as high as 8,000, and then over time there just wasn't as much demand, kind of dropping down 4,000, 3,000. They dropped down, into the, I think, 1,800 range there for a while. They were sticking around just under 2,000, but they've popped back up. I think that due to some publicity that the hobby has gotten, maybe from PSA coming into the game, maybe from some other things, but more collectors are interested, and the 9.8 copy of issue number one has been resurrected. This one sold for $3,100. There's 958 copies of this graded. Of course, issue number one, always considered a newsstand because all of them were sent out in an envelope to the subscribers. None of them had the mailing label on the cover. Thus, all have been graded as newsstands. And also, they saved quite a few of them in a warehouse, and many were sold years later as collector's items, which is why there's a count of 96 9.8s currently out there. And once again, this one coming in at number three. Coming in at number two, it's another Michael Jordan 80s cover. I was wrong. I don't think we'd seen this one yet. This just about does complete them all, other than the One Man Gang. It's Michael Jordan's second Sports Illustrated cover. Up for LA, playing with Team USA in 1984, right before he joined the Chicago Bulls with the NBA. Now, this is a subscription copy. You can see the label was not so cleanly removed there at the bottom, but it's been autographed by MJ. He's a tough sign, and it's been authenticated and slabbed by Beckett, and this one sold on eBay for $3,500. And coming in at number one, we've got a Sports Illustrated cover from 2018 featuring one of the hottest and most popular current athletes today, and that is Shohei Ohtani. And just won another MVP award. He shares his first cover with another former MVP and former teammate Mike Trout. And this is CGC 9.8 copy. And actually, I have a typo here. This one did not sell on Golden. This was a private sale. This one was shared out by Jim Kehoe. Of course, he is well known, runs the CGC Sports Illustrated channel, and he's a trustworthy source to be sharing out these private sales. This one went for $5,000. Strong sale for the first Shohei Ohtani cover. There have been 43 newsstand copies of this one graded. This is one of 15 15 9.8s, and there are 0 graded higher. All right, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. If you have not yet done so, please subscribe to this channel. I also appreciate likes and comments. And until the next video, we'll see you next time.